Welcome to the One Fight Night 10 on Prime Video post-event press conference. We're going to start with a statement from the chairman and CEO of ONE Championship, Chatri Sityodtong, before we open it up to Q&A from the floor to Chatri, Tye Ruotolo, and Sage Northcutt. Chatri.
I just want to thank the fans all over the States. You're really, I'm so full of gratitude and appreciation. Like I said, America gave me the opportunity to escape poverty and live the American dream, and to come back here is just, it blows my mind. And the energy today in the stadium, I know we were trending on Twitter, I think number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, depending on the moment of the night. So man, thank you from the bottom of my heart to all American fans. And also, of course, we're broadcast live to 179 countries around the world, and thank you to the fans all over the world. I'm sure the numbers, knock on wood, I predict are going to be record-breaking for ONE. With that, let's open up the Q&A.
Hey Chatri, great show. I just want to start by asking about Rodtang. Incredible star, not star making, but star extending performance. But he says he wants Jonathan Haggerty next at bantamweight. Are you willing to do that fight, or would you like to give it to Liam Harrison, who I spoke to earlier, says he thinks he should be the man to fight Haggerty in the UK?
I haven't thought that far. I know everybody wants to fight Haggerty. Nongo wants to fight Haggerty, Liam wants to fight Haggerty, and now Rodtang wants to fight Haggerty. So I need to sit down with my team and figure out what's best. But I mean, all those are incredible fights. So I don't see it having to be, I don't think it has to be either or. I think we can do all of those fights. It's just going to be a series of fights, yeah? But I don't know who's going to be first and all that stuff.
And
but obviously those 4 names are the greatest strikers on the planet, pound for pound, and no ifs, ands, or buts. And all those fights I think are going to end in KOs. So it's just it's going to be electrifying for the fans.
There was a huge shock on a night full of incredible finishes, but I think the most shocking was Kadestam, knocking out Roberto Soldic. Where does that leave Soldic? He came in to ONE Championship with a lot of hype. I know there was a big push behind him, but it's going to be tough for him to bounce back from that.
Yeah, I hope. I hadn't talked to the doctors, and I hope Soldic is doing well. I think he's at the hospital now, but everyone has an off night. I don't want to say one thing or another. Everyone has an off night. Kadestam was a beast. I mean, he took so many hard shots, and he came out. So you got to give props. I mean, Kadestam did a phenomenal job.
All right, I just had one more for you, Chatri. Onglan Sang, I spoke to him after the fight. He says his contract's coming up with ONE. Are you happy to extend him? What's going on there?
I love Ongla. It's been a great partnership. So I think my team will sit down with him and figure things out.
Next question.
Hey, Chatri, mixedmartialarts.com, Cody Merrill here. So you talked about the fans, you said it was a fantastic night here in Denver. What does the future hold for ONE Championship in the US? Maybe a bigger arena, maybe getting more fans?
Yeah, I'm kicking myself because, my team was saying, yeah, let's do a 15,000, 20,000 seater, and I was like, nah, our brand is just nascent in the States. I honestly had no idea that we had a fan base in the States because we've only been, on Amazon Prime once a month. So I'm sitting down, the Amazon leadership team was here. We're sitting down tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. To figure out ways to really deepen, broaden, and expand the partnership. I'm sure the numbers are going to be record high for Amazon, but they're very, very happy with our numbers since we launched. So it's mind blowing to me that we have so many fans. The fans were rabid. It was clear in the stadium that the fans had been following our athletes and they knew the story. It wasn't just like, oh, new timers. Oh, let me just check out ONE Champion. It was like hardcore rabid fans. I mean, I was shocked, and yeah. So I think you will see, we already have huge plans for the US. I'm not ready to break the news now, but we have huge plans for the US. We want to sit down obviously with Amazon and make sure it's aligned with what they want and go from there. But I think you're going to see many more shows on ground, possibly this year or next year. For sure next year, possibly this year.
Is there any possibility that maybe you bring the ONE Friday night fights over here?
Anything is possible, 100%. Anything is possible right now. I think this event was an overwhelming success. Again, look at the viewership metrics. Just look at the trending social metrics. Looking at the stadium, the fact that we sold out several weeks in advance. I think when we put up the ticket link when we first announced the event, within 10 days we were 70% sold out with zero marketing. So there's a clear, rabid fan base and our brand and our product, the whole martial arts is really resonating with American fans, and it's something totally new, totally different from anything that exists in the market, and it's completely unique anywhere in the world. So I think there's a huge opportunity here.
Hey guys, Tom Taylor with Bleacher Report and South China Morning Post. Excuse me. I'll start with you, Sage. Amazing performance tonight. I think you really surprised a lot of people with the ground game. But after 4 years away, is there a part of you that kind of wanted to spend a little bit more time in there? It was less than a minute in the end.
Man, yeah, it was definitely pretty fast. I've been working my grappling though a lot. So over the last few years, I've been really honing in on it and working it a ton. So I'm really excited that I got to win out there and get a submission and got to show some of that grappling.
Definitely, and I know you're a classy guy, not one to make a lot of call-outs, but is there anybody you'd kind of like to fight in the next fight, and any style matchups that interest you?
Yeah, well, I did have a fight. I did have one set up with Shinyaoki, and I think that'd be a super exciting one. And looking for my finishes now, you can see my grappling's improved a lot, and I got to show some grappling. He's a great grappler. I think that'd be a really exciting match.
I think that would be great, a fantastic fight. So I want to make that fight. I just got to talk to Shinya. Yeah, it would be great. Shinya versus Sage, potentially in Japan, and it'll blow up Japan.
I'll go to you, Tye. You know a thing or two about grappling, of course. Did you get a chance to see Sage's win, and if so, what did you think?
Yeah, for sure. That's the first thing I told him. I was super stoked to see that. I definitely wasn't expecting it, to be honest. A heel hook from Sage. He's definitely been improving the ground game. So yeah, I was stoked to see it. Congrats, brother.
Thank you, Tye.
Yeah.
And a follow-up for you. I know you had some call-outs kind of in the works earlier in the week when you were speaking to my colleague Nick. Can you just kind of go over what you're hoping is next for you?
Yeah, my goal every time I step on the mats is to, inspire people to do jiu-jitsu, to embrace the sport. And, it's such a sick sport with so many, different reasons to enter. And, I feel like my performance tonight, I didn't really, show what I was capable of, and I didn't show, and I didn't feel like I inspired the way I should have, So, I'm just gonna look back on my match tonight, make sure I fix all my mistakes so that I never win in that fashion again, I didn't really, not super stoked on the win, But with that being said, I want to fight Marigali next no matter what. I feel like I can take bigger guys, and he's the guy I want to take.
Chatri, is that something you'd be interested in making happen?
Definitely, and Marigali has accepted already, so it's something we've been planning. So, and obviously he's red hot, one of the best grapplers in the world. But Tye's ambition is to be the future GOAT, and I think he has all the right tools, all the right athletic, natural abilities. And the excitement factor. He comes to finish. It's just unfortunate that today things didn't work out in terms of what we try to do with the submission grappling product is get two people who want to finish. When you get that kind of mindset and two grapplers who are very aggressive want to finish instead of one person playing defense. You see, if you want to stall, and maybe that's too harsh of a word, but if you just want to counter and do it like anti-jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter how great your opponent, it doesn't matter how you're great, you could be the world's best grappler, but if you're up against a guy who reasonably knows how to just stall and anti-jiu-jitsu, it's very hard to get anything going. So that was my disappointment of today's match, just to be very frank.
Yeah, and one more for you, if I may. You've talked a bit about the atmosphere in here tonight, the appetite of the fans for ONE Championship, but could you talk specifically about the reception that Rodtang and Stamp got? They came a long way from Thailand. We know they're famous over there, but I don't know if you heard, Rodtang came out during Mighty Mess's fight, and they were chanting his name in the middle of Mighty Mess's fight. They looked like they were ready to pull him into the crowd. What did you think of the reaction of these two Thai guys?
Here's the thing, the home of martial arts, people, and it used to irk me when I used to live here, that people are like, this guy is the greatest striker in the world. And I'm like, I don't want to name names, but there were folks in other organizations that were called the greatest striker in the world, and it's just not true. You want to see elite level. You saw Rodtang. I don't know if everyone caught it. The first round, he caught the guy, every time he caught the push kick, the guy would do a spinning elbow. So on that third one, he blocked and countered with an elbow right in the guy. That is technical mastery at the highest levels. Nobody in any organization, American organization, can do that. That is literally, you have to have 350 fights, professional fights, to be able to have that kind of intuition, that kind of timing. And again, I can't wait to showcase our entire striking roster, truly the best on the planet. Just like our grappling roster is the best on the planet. Just like our MMA product is the best on the planet. And I believe it. I'm not, there's a lot of, Twitter hype in America, and so a lot gets lost about how good is somebody. You know, I don't want to name names and throw anyone under the bus, but there are athletes that if you talk behind closed doors with any of the top athletes of any organization, say, that guy's the biggest star, is he really good? But if you talk to casual, they're like, yeah, that guy's amazing. But it's because he has a good mouth. Doesn't mean it's good. So here we're much more purists. You know, I'm a lifelong martial. I literally handpick everyone. When we're going after the Ruotolo brothers, I literally said that's who's going to represent Jiu-Jitsu, and it's going to blow up all over the world. When we recruited Sage, same thing. It's like I felt like he could be the first true global superstar that was like a superhero, like a good guy, like, you know, like a Superman. I could see him blowing in China and Japan and etc. So yeah.
Thanks, guys, and congrats to all of you.
Thanks, brother.
Yes.
Hi, basically Clean from Reddit MMA. Sage, Tye, I want to thank you guys for coming on and doing an AMA with us on Reddit MMA. Our users absolutely loved it, so we had nothing but great feedback on that. Tye, I want to start with you. There's been multiple interviews you've talked about where you've talked about wanting to transition to MMA. What is your timeline on that, and what's been the most difficult thing as part of your preparation into that transition?
That's a good question. You know, I think my brother's probably going to transition before me for sure. You know, he wants to fight every day, so I think he's definitely going to make the transition by the end of the year. And then for me, I'm probably going to make my transition next year. You know, I want to beat some guys in Jiu-Jitsu, Marigali and Gordon that being, before I go transition to MMA fully. You know, so I still got a couple goals I need to make sure they happen, and then from there I'll go to MMA.
One more follow-up for you, Tye. How much smoke is there to the Gordon Ryan fire?
Right now, there's a lot of smoke. You talk a lot of shit, you know. So, you know, I don't really like the guy, to be honest with you. I'm excited to fight him.
Thanks. And Sage, you know, you had a really gruesome injury. You took a lot of time off, but what I noticed was you looked incredibly sharp. Most people that take a lot of time off, they don't quite look as sharp as what you did. So, what did you do in your preparation that helped get you to where you were tonight, where you know you looked like the old Sage that never took any time off?
Man, I think one of the big things was the mindset. So, of course, I've been training, staying sharp, but when I go out there, I'm looking for a finish, and I think I've just been training with a great team, great coaches, really been working all around to be very well-rounded and fix little holes in my games, and then just been really staying in the gym, staying sharp.
Cool. Next question, please.
Emily May with Sportskeeda. Chatri, my question is for you. What was your proudest moment of the night, and is there someone in particular that you were very proud of their performance tonight?
That's. I think I have to say Sage, because that comeback story. You know, the fans didn't get to see what he really went through. I after he got knocked out, I went to the hospital and I was like, man, this is gonna take a long time. And then, you know, at one point he called me and said, Chatri, I'm gonna hang it up. And when he tried to come back, he had a nerve still, you know. And so I went up to Mark, his father, and I was like very emotional. I mean, Sage could have easily quit. And that's the thing, you know, at the whole martial arts, we really want to be a platform to inspire everyone to dream more, do more, be more in life. And I know it sounds corny, but that's truly what I believe in my heart, that these are superheroes, and their journeys, their adversity, and overcoming can inspire anybody. And it's not that I want everyone to become a fighter or a martial artist, but they can draw inspiration that, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, or I failed my first, you know, college exam, or whatever it is, right? And that's why I'm also very proud that we announced the Buddies over Bullies.org program in conjunction with Tom DeBlas. It's like, you know, you look around the whole world, and especially you see the States, young kids committing suicide and stuff like that. You know, it's just crazy, 10 years old, and you know, social media has done a lot of harm, right? I mean, there's a lot of good in social media, but there is some harm. And so there's a lot of things I want to do with this platform, with our superheroes, and tell their story. So I would say Sage. I mean, he definitely had the hardest journey back.
All right, last question for this group over here. I think it's for Sage.
Sage, how you doing? This is Darren Eady with Fight Camp Media. My question is, most stand-up fighters who really focus on stand-up, they'll do anti-grappling or anti-jiu-jitsu to get right back on their feet. What in your mind felt that I want to stay on the ground, I want to go from submission? What was your training like to make you think that first versus training back up and wanting to, you know, do it in the hands?
So I've been working the grappling quite a bit, but being offensive too. You know, I figured I want to be a complete athlete out there, and not just one aspect of the sport. So down there, I was really looking for a finish. I mean, that's kind of mindset going in, was I want to finish my opponent and want to do it any way possible. And I saw the opening when he stood up, and that's when I decided to take it.
I'm glad to see it. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.